This is the Boston Celtics newsfeed for Sunday, November 18th, 2018. Reporting from Boston, Massachusetts, I'm Corey Prescott for CLNS Media, the leading online provider of audio-video coverage of the NBA's winningest franchise. Instead of building on a positive win at home against the Toronto Raptors, the Boston Celtics disappointed the Saturday night TD Garden crowd with a poor showing against the Utah Jazz. The 98-86 final score isn't indicative of just how poor the Celtics played, as reserves Daniel Tice, Semi Ojeleye, Gershon Yabusele, and Brad Wanamaker helped keep the deficit somewhat respectable. The Jazz owned as high as a 22-point lead in this one, so with about 8 minutes remaining in the game and after witnessing 3 straight alley-oop dunks from the Jazz, head coach Brad Stevens elected to go deep into his bench for anyone who would provide the energy he was looking for. A disappointed Stevens spoke after the game about what he was looking for.
Well, one of the things when you look back at last year's, two of our guys that were really impactful when we beat them there were were Shemi and Gersh. We needed energy. We weren't going anywhere with what we were doing, so it was better just to mix it up, see if those guys could bring us some live legs, and let's go. We had a moment there where we cut it to 13 or whatever, and I think they won that 8-minute stretch pretty, at least by 5 or 7. But we needed other guys out there, or at least that's what I felt. Maybe I'm wrong.
Stevens also addressed the best way for the Celtics to build confidence this season.
I mean, I think that's maybe there's something there with what you're saying. I think there's a lot of things that it could be. But at the end of the day, you build confidence through doing really hard things over and over and over, because that's your focus, that's your intent. Your job is your focus. You know what you're supposed to do. You perform every assignment. You do it physically. You do it tough, and then all of a sudden, the ball goes in. It's just kind of funny how it works. The game honors it. I had an old friend that was one of the best NAI coaches ever, and coached for 34 years in the state of Indiana, and his phrase that his team used was, "The game honors toughness." And boy, is that true. You see that over and over. And so I would say that if we're struggling with the ball going in the hole, that we should just lock into what we need to do better, and that'll take care of itself.
After 3 straight home games, the Celtics will head back out on the road Monday, where they'll face off against Kemba Walker and the Charlotte Hornets. Walker poured in an incredible 60 points during the Hornets' overtime loss to Philadelphia last night. The Sacramento Kings are 8-8 through 16 games, and by all accounts have exceeded their preseason expectations. Unfortunately for Kings fans who are used to seeing their club lose games, there may be some discord between the Kings front office and head coach Dave Joerger, according to a report from Yahoo Sports. There is some disagreement on winning now versus development for the future, and according to the report, Joerger's handling of number 2 overall pick Marvin Bagley III may lead to his dismissal. Dave has our full support and confidence, GM Vlade Divac said in a statement. We continue to work together to develop our young core and compete. The Kings have found success this season with youngsters Bagley, De'Aaron Fox, Willie Cauley-Stein, and Buddy Hield leading the way. Reminder here that today's newsfeed is brought to you by Action Heat. Action Heat makes the world's best battery-heated clothing. Heat on demand at the touch of a button. Stay toasty and warm throughout all your outdoor activities this winter. Action Heat makes the perfect holiday gift, and we've got a special deal for our listeners to save 20% off your entire order. Just go to actionheat.com/newsfeed to check out everything Action Heat has to offer. That's actionheat.com/newsfeed, or use the coupon code newsfeed at checkout to save 20%. Action Heat. Control your environment. Follow CLNS on Twitter at CLNS Media, as well as at Celtics CLNS, and be sure to head to clnsmedia.com. Subscribe to the Celtics newsfeed both on iTunes and Stitcher, as well as the CLNS mobile podcast app. This has been Corey Prescott for Celtics Newsfeed.